Good evening. Welcome to the latest episode of Mystery Ghost Stories. I am, of course, your host, Justin Bienvenu. And tonight, as a continuation of our hotel series, we are going to be taking a trip to the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel. So, this should be a very interesting case, if I do say so myself. So, the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel, in a nutshell, is was built back in the 20s, and actually it opened in 1927 to be exact. And I mean, it's not named Hollywood for nothing. This is where some of Hollywood's elite and glamorous stayed and perhaps even partied. So it's pretty much goes without saying that there are a few of the elite celebrities that who once stayed here never left apparently. So let us get started, shall we? The glamorous Roosevelt opened in 1927, right in the thick of Hollywood, and as such has star-studded history. It was often used for movie premiere after parties and hosted the first Oscars. The Roosevelt's clientele and striking Spanish colonial revival style architecture helped shape the image myth of Hollywood as a place of glamour and luxury. So as you can see, as you can hear, just as I said, only Hollywood's finest um, took part in the hotel in its beginning and heyday. But now we're going to get right into the good old fashioned gritty stuff, the reason you're here, the hauntings. And they're very interesting at that, if I do say so myself. Not even death can keep many of those stars away now. Marilyn Monroe, the busiest ghost in the biz, supposedly haunts her old room, 1200, where she lived as her fame grew. It's rumored that her first ad was shot at the Roosevelt's pool. So this article states that it's a rumor. There are several other articles that I read that state that this is a fact. It was for a magazine shoot, her first ever magazine shoot for an ad. Marilyn Monroe actually, the, the shot was at the Roosevelt pool. So, a little fun bit there. Many see Marilyn in the mirror. They also see a little girl in a blue dress, a maintenance worker told The Hollywood Reporter. The apparition of silver screen babe Montgomery Clift has been blamed for patting guests' shoulders and watching maids in room 928, where he stayed for 3 months while filming From Here to Eternity. And the ghost of Carol Lombard has also been spotted floating around the upstairs floors. So the first thing that I said in that second paragraph was many see Marilyn in the mirror. So this is one of the most well-known hotspots in the hotel. All four articles that I read vouch for this, and I actually remember watching something. And basically, everybody that stays on the floor, I believe it's just outside of room 1200, which Marilyn Monroe stayed at. And in the hallway, right up against the wall, there was a mirror. And every single person that would walk by this mirror would stand in front of the mirror, to make sure they're all studious and whatnot, and that they look good. And they would see the ghost and reflection of Marilyn Monroe, either next to them, behind them, or whatever. And the hotel actually got so many reports that they actually removed the mirror because so many people were, complaining that they saw the ghost of Marilyn Monroe, which I suppose isn't the creepiest thing in the world, you know. But yeah, so that's rather interesting. Montgomery Cliff also haunts. Apparently, he watches Maze in room 928. Um, so so that one I also believe like they said, he stayed there for a little bit. And in the other article that I will be reading, I believe there's also a part that they have on Montgomery Cliff's hauntings in the Hollywood Roosevelt. So do stay tuned for that. And we're off to the second article already. This one's a little short. It's going to be a little short, but bear with me. I'll make it good. The Roosevelt is a Hollywood Boulevard landmark, welcoming both celebrity icons and regulars, travelers alike. Charlie Chaplin, Prince, and Angelina Jolie have spent the night under the Roosevelt's roof, and it's even rumored that famed actor Errol Flynn concocted his bootleg gin recipe in the bathtub of the hotel's barber shop. That just sounds extremely cool. But there's a darker side to one of Tinseltown's oldest hotels, one that would one that would give even Disneyland's Tower of Terror a run for its money. And of course, we lead off with once again the starlet herself, Miss Marilyn Monroe. The story begins with Marilyn Monroe when the once aspiring model took up residence at the hotel in hopes of her big break. Monroe called the Roosevelt home for 2 years during the 1940s and even shot her first magazine cover by the hotel's pool. So, like I told you, this one says it did happen. The other one said it was only a rumor, but this one and like two others said that she actually did it. So I believe it. Then, of course, it goes into the history of Marilyn Monroe, which you already know. And this is the one that states that she frequently was seen in the mirror, and eventually the hotel removed it because too many complaints by customers. But again, you know, who would you rather see behind you in a mirror in a hallway, Marilyn Monroe or like a demon? Pretty sure we're all gonna go with Marilyn Monroe. The spirit of actor Montgomery Cliff is also said to roam the Roosevelt as well. The restlessness of Cliff's spirit may have something to do with his rocky personal life. According to his brother, Cliff was bisexual, and his sexuality was often discussed in the tabloids despite Cliff's best attempts to remain private. In 1956, tragedy struck when Cliff's car smashed into a telephone pole, jeopardizing his life and leaving his face disfigured. Although he would survive the crash, the incident sparked what acting teacher Robert Lewis called the longest suicide in Hollywood. As Cliff turned to prescription painkillers and alcohol abuse to cope with his new life, he eventually attempted to return to the screen, but sadly died of an apparent heart attack in 1966 at only 45 years old. So the first thing I noticed is that there's a similarity between Marilyn Monroe and Montgomery Cliff in the sense that they both died young, they both were on prescription painkillers, and they both had, that secret, that second life that a lot of people didn't know about. Like Marilyn Monroe's, it was just the stardom, the behind the scenes that nobody knew, like the stress, and of course Montgomery Clift, it was his sexuality. But toward the end of his life, it sounded like it was really, really bad. But I can see him coming back to this place and haunting it, probably because this is probably where he had some of his best times, before things went all bad. So him and Marilyn Monroe, both, I think, you know, not only do they, not only did they share similar lives, but some of that, excuse me, similar, wow, similar tragedy in their lives, but also have apparently found the same peace at the same paradise, if you will, with the Hotel Roosevelt, where their spirits apparently remain. Now, Cliff's spirit occupies room 928. forever fiddling with the thermostat and the radio in an attempt to remain connected to our world. I don't know if that's actually true or they're just saying that to, try to add some flavor to this article. All right. So, those are the two main ghosts that are said to haunt the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel. And then, of course, you may remember I did say Carol Lombard, but there's not really much known about her haunting the place other than the fact that she roams the upper suites and tends to haunt upstairs. So that is interesting as well. So you got three Hollywood celebrities who apparently checked in but never quite checked out. Kind of like that Hotel California song, right? This isn't California. This is Hollywood. Hollywood, California. This is as Eagles Hotel California as you can get. You can check out any time you like, but you can never leave. Marilyn Monroe, she ain't leaving. Montgomery Clift, he ain't leaving either. But again, I'm just gonna say this one more time. It wouldn't be the creepiest thing in the world if you bumped into one of them, right? An old time celebrity. It's better than a creepy person who you can see through or, a demon. Well, I'm sure you could see through them, but you get my point. I've always been fascinated with the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel because, you know, not just the Marilyn Monroe aspect, but just the whole fact that like the celebrity, like because I already knew that many celebrities stayed here. So I'm sure I went through many articles and they all pretty much came back to Marilyn Monroe and Montgomery Clift. I think this place is absolutely haunted by them, and I also think that maybe other celebrities that we don't really know of today, or maybe like lesser known celebrities, I think they haunt the Hollywood Roosevelt as well. But I think that perhaps people just don't really see them as much as the most famous two guests staying there. So, again, why do we think why do we think the Hollywood Roosevelt is haunted? Well, again, I think this is because I don't want to repeat myself, so I'm not even going to finish that sentence. Haha, I caught myself. Aside from what I already previously said, I think that maybe the hotel itself, is, I'm sure it's glamorous, I'm sure it's luxurious, it's a freaking hotel in Hollywood. But I think that maybe, a lot of celebrities are on the road constantly. And for a brief moment in their lives, they stay at hotels. And this happens to be one of the hotels, probably right off, on the side, where they can relax and just get away from all the fame and the stardom, the glitz and the glamour, if you will. And even after death, they still go back to the place they remember. So I think that I think it's very very cool. I wouldn't mind seeing Marilyn Monroe's ghost or Montgomery Clift's ghost, and I wonder if I'd get that vibe. But yeah, like I said, this has been a short episode of mystery ghost stories, but definitely an intriguing one. But what do you think? Do you think the Hollywood Roosevelt is in fact haunted? What do you think all the people who have claimed to see Marilyn Monroe's ghost and Montgomery Clift's ghost, are they lying? I don't. I think the place is totally haunted, and I think that more than just two famous ghosts, three famous ghosts, haunt the place. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Mystery Ghost Stories, and do stay tuned for the next episode. I'm totally just bumbling over my words. Stay tuned for next week's episode where we will be concluding. God, I can't even talk. This, wow. Stay tuned next week where we will be concluding our hotel series as we will be taking a look at the Knickerbocker Hotel, another hotel in which celebrities made their home in life and even in death. So once again, this is a mystery ghost story, the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel. Take care.